who a thing is.
Right.
So this is the same thing when you asked earlier about them watching our birth dates in order to catch us coming back.
Right.
Right. They knew who Emmett Till was, Chief Littlehorn.
Right.
They just hadn't started calling him that yet.
Yeah.
They threw the pale face lady under the bus, and them niggas went and got him.
Yeah.
Wasn't no pale faces went and got him.
Yeah. Yeah. Now
Right.
the niggas that went and got him, they the one that logged his birth? Or they got word from somebody?
They the ones came up with the story that he whistled at the white lady.
Yeah.
And that the mob went to his house and got him. But his family said it was two niggas came to the house and got him. Talking about they trying to protect the community.
Yeah.
And I was always thought it was odd that didn't nobody never follow up on that lead.
Right. Right.
Right. And then in the movie, they show you the niggas holding him down on the back of the truck.
Man. And then the thing is, they run that same MO. These Black Hand guys. They did it in Roswell. They did it in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the Black Wall Street, where he touched the white girl around the elevator. Then the whole town get burnt down.
But see, that's always the convenient excuse to keep the skin. You got to remember, they trying to convince us that somebody is better than somebody else by skin color alone.
Go ahead.
Our interaction being in close proximity, sooner or later, we're going to be like, wait a minute, everybody with that skin color don't feel the same way.
Right.
You got more people with our skin color that hate people with our skin color than you got people with a lighter skin color.
That's facts.
But we don't never talk about that because we don't want to address the source.
Yeah.
Because when you trace it back to the source, it end up with the Huguenots and the conquistadors is fighting these wars in the south of the United States until they challenge us to the Conjure War. Feathers versus Fezzes, the George Washington challenge. And we came in with 50 chiefs, and we came out with way more than we went in with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That George Washington challenge connect with this too, because that he was part of that same oath to come and get rid of the that challenge ties into the blood oath to get rid of the princes on the land and make them pretty much wipe their memory out. Now that's bring my next question, and then we gonna run. We got about 4 more clips to run. But why was it important to make us forget a lot of our stuff that we did, like divinations and like
because they cutting you off from your intrinsic ancestral power base. They take away your spirituality and replace it with religion that keeps you powerless because you constantly put yourself in a sleep spell in the name of the Amun. It's a mandatory spell. Every time you saying it at the end of your prayers, you telling the known God to remain unknown. I mean, don't shine my light in the world. I want people to know I'm powerful. So it enhances the ego, but it subjugates the God's self. It's like putting shackles on a God. Because can't nobody hold you down but you. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no, you got to keep on moving. So when you look at the war structure, the goal is when the close of the age come, all debts must be settled. All conjures must be closed, right? Everybody must be prepared to account for their right or their wrongdoing, because this is the great celestial payout for the karma that we accumulated over lifetimes. We call it generational traumas, generational curses, generational blessings, right? Because we all know a family, they ain't rich, but they don't never want for nothing. None of them in their family don't never want for nothing, but they ain't rich. They always stumble into the good jobs without having to have all of the qualifications. It just lines up for them, right? That's because that's their generational path clear financially. right? Normally, when you find people in poverty, that means that they the pauper guys. They waiting on the end to cash in. They don't know that heaven is on earth, but they about to find out. And popes as they want to. They're not going to take the place of the divine feminine.
Right.
Right? And the return of the ancient ones is at hand. We here.
Yes, sir.
And this is not our first rodeo. This is not the first time that we had to go through this. This is just the only time you remember because it's the time you're dealing with right now.
Right.
Right? When you playing in the 2025 championship game, you don't give a damn about the 2024 championship game, especially when you're playing against a different team. Right? You know you already that game already won. That's over with. This is where we at because all of this charade game they playing, this galactic chess game they playing, games of the gods, board games, lodge games, they all expiring in real time. And as they all fall, they have to make these announcements like the lizard bitch died, the trans-testicle pope died. All of those are what they call markers, just to mark where they at in the fall of the old system. Because all it is about changing the system into a new, more prosperous system because somebody thought they could do it better than the ones who had been doing it for eons. So they had 6,000 years to prove themselves and they failed. They was too focused on trying to turn men into women than trying to find peace and harmony and bring heaven back to earth.
Let's get to the next question, Rod. We're gonna do about 3 more before we get out here. We officially crossed the 2-hour mark. We still got 4,200 people in the building. Shout out to everybody who's tapped into this information tonight. Rod, iStorm wants to know: can you talk about the Haiti Empire in America? I hope I'm saying that right. It's Haiti or Haiti?
Haiti. So they are critical right now. Like all eyes from the Americas, North, Central, and South should be on Haiti. We need to be hoping that we see them experience prosperity and fast because they the ones who've been economically in last place and they gonna get the first payout on the turnaround because the last gonna be made first. It's already written. And the first gonna be made last, meaning all of them leeches and blood suckers that thought they was at the top, they finna get kicked to the back of the bus. Right? We gonna put them on the caboose of the train, and then I hope I had a saboteur that while we moving the train real fast, that they disconnect their boxcar and leave their ass rolling in the opposite direction.
Oh shit!
But AT is important. The Haitian Revolution. This is what your divine insight was fighting for. This is what you got Orisha Stone, my chief of staff, Rising Phoenix. This is what they've been fighting for to close out the Haitian Revolutionary Conjure so that they could bring the prosperity back to the island. And if you follow the migration, when they left after the French was ran out of there, they went to 2 places primarily. They went to New Orleans and they went to Florida. The soldiers went to Florida to fight the Gullah Wars. The priests and priestesses went to New Orleans to fight the Conjure Wars. We in the return of that. Everything has to come full circle in order to flip out of the infinity loop. This is a wrap. And they are critical. Jamaica is critical too because Duddy Bookman came from Jamaica to Haiti in order to assist in the and there wasn't no pale faces they was fighting, contrary to popular opinion. They was fighting Negropeans called Huguenots.
Huguenots.
Yeah, that was the French equivalent of conquistadors.
Right. That's who they was fighting.
Yep.
Boy, Rod dropping a history for us, y'all. All right, let's keep this thing going, man. Like I said, wow, what a show. In the very beginning, I said this. I knew what it was going to be tonight. Rod, they want to know, okay, they want to know what's your take on walk-in souls in soul transference. Oh, damn, shit. They
The
getting
walk-in can only come in when somebody totally give up on their life. You walk in, just can't walk into somebody that's living a fulfilled life. The walk-in can, like, if a person's suicidal and all of a sudden he decide I ain't suicidal no more, and then his whole life start changing for the better, that's a walk-in.
Shit.
Because
Damn.
it's tied to a soul contract or a book of life. Your book of life is what the path you chose to walk when you incarnate, right? And as you walk that path, and some people get so confused about their book of life and forget about the agreement they made before they came, due to the effectiveness of the system that we work at, that we existing in, they become suicidal because whenever you got a right to exit whenever you're ready. But if you have a purpose that's bigger than you and bigger than your, like for instance, some people book a life, they live in the dirt for 60 years and then they cross back over. Nobody never really have any interaction with them. But then other people's life have so many people tied to them, they can't just leave and leave them people with absent pages in their books of life that causes catastrophe. So you got a spiritual person, probably an ancestor, that's reading your book of life, say, I can finish this and I can make it better. So they'll come in as a walk-in. Go ahead, son. Go on. I'll let you tap out. And we're going to let Uncle Willie over there. He done lived this path before a couple of times. He can handle this with ease and make it better. So he come in, change everything around, and the whole life is better. Soul transference is only done through clones. Clone don't have a direct link to the bloodline because they artificially manufactured, unless it's a twin in utero. When that happened, the original person the clone was taken from, when they pass on in physical form, if they pass on by accident or some calamity and they were supposed to finish something, they can transfer all their energy to their clone to finish the job they came to complete. So those are different things.
Man, all right, we're gonna do we got two more final questions. One of them is the second and last one is, what essential symptoms have you been experiencing during this earth upgrade? Rod, this is to you. What have
Man, I
you
didn't
been?
listen, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday last week, I was in the bed.
Shit.
My whole head felt like it was gonna bust. My sinuses get clogged, right? Then some of the other symptoms that I had was stomach aches, back aches, shoulder pain, and I had a whole lot of different ones, but those are the most recent ones, especially the sore muscles.
And Rod, let me ask you, how do you know those are Ascension symptoms in particular?
Because I know I ain't sick. I know what they is when I feel them.
Right.
Like, for instance, what triggered the bed thing for 3 days was a solar flare came in. All you gotta do is look. You can time it. Solar flare, Schumann resonance, knocked out, or you could get the reverse. Solar flare, Schumann resonance, manic, can't sleep, up, got to do something, finishing everything up. Like, man was to make me sit my ass down because I had to come back from a sabbatical back to social media to continue trying to wake people up and help them see that there's more to this than what we've been told. So in order to make sure I'm rested when I get to Brother Rich, Big Mama say, here, go sit your ass down.
Right. Oh man. Oh man, let's get to one last question. I really want to ask. I want to ask this one because it seems simple, but It seems very simple, but I want to ask it. Why we gotta know thyself? Nigga said, why we gotta know thyself? It seems simple, but it's a lot of layers to this answer. That's why I want to ask it, Rod. Why do we have to know ourselves, Rod?
The same reason when somebody's robbing your ass, you need to know who the police is. Your condition and your life mission is best understood by knowing who you are. If you don't know how you're going to react to a certain situation, life going to put you in that situation for you to jot it down in your book of notes of self, so you will know if any of that happen again, I know what to do next time. The knowledge of self is what awaken you up to who you were in past lives, your ancestral responsibilities. What do you have to do for your bloodline, your lineage, in order for all of the people that came before you to have intrinsic value? I do not know my grandfather's name personally.
Mm-hmm.
In order for him to have any intrinsic value, they have to be expressed through me for my children to know he was important, or else I wouldn't be here. Take any one of your ancestors from out of the equation and you a different person. Every ancestor that you had, they had to come in order for you to exist. Knowing yourself is knowing what you came here for, and it's also to help you understand your life mission, your life purpose. And it's to keep, that's why once you get into this, the only thing that depresses you is how slow other people wake up. That's it.
Damn.
You don't get depressed about nothing else. You might get angry about a few things, but it's not going to last long because you know anger is a fleeting emotion.
Right.
And you can't feed the anger till you do something that you're going to regret for the rest of your life. But sometimes you got to learn the hard lesson in order for that aspect of the self to wake up and be like, look, it got to be a smarter way to do this. I can't be a damn fool and do this. I gotta make sense to me, and even if it don't make sense to nobody else. But if I don't know my likes and my dislikes and my pet peeves, I don't even know how to help me. So the knowledge of self is critical for you to walk your path. If you don't want to walk your path, then you can try to ignore who you is, but life gonna beat you into submission when you do that, because I tried it.
Shit.
I literally tried it.
Damn.
I heard my calling when I was 4, 5 years old and ran the other way. And every time I ran, I got knocked right back to the path.
Right. Damn. Shit. Hey, Rada, I seen I missed I think I missed a super chat question. I seen y'all in the chat. Where's it at? Give me, because that was supposed to be the last question. Goddess of Fire. Hold up. Let me where is it at? Okay, here we go. Goddess of Fire. All right. My solar return was April 12th, same day of the pink moon. My period was extended a week. And that never happened before. Did the pink moon affect my cycle? Shout out to Goddess of Fire. Thank you for the super chat, sis. I almost missed your question.
All of the women's cycles is governed by the frequency of the moon. This is why they don't parthogenically reproduce anymore, because the Lilith moon is eclipsed by the lunar moon. The Lilith moon, what we call the dark phase of the moon, that's when the women can access the same higher consciousness that allows them to produce parthogenically. And the 28-day cycle is to make it where when that dark window come around, you off rhythm with the Lilith moon. And this is why they say that Eve replaced Lilith as the consort of Adam. This is what they're talking about. So it's definitely possible that the pink moon could have affected your cycle. But better than asking me, ask yourself, because you know yourself better than I know you. and the answer always comes back to you. And when it comes back to you, this is how you gonna know. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's what that was.
Right.
An aha moment. When you send yourself, your mind to answer a question for you, it don't come back as you telling yourself, read Psalms 37. No, don't do none of that. It come back to you as an aha moment.
Yeah.
Right? And if your mind can't find the answer, but it know who got the answer, the person will haphazardly give you an off-the-cuff book reference, song reference, movie reference, and then when you read the book, listen to the song, or watch the movie, the answer will be sitting right there in your face. And you're like, dang, I was just asking myself about that the other day. Right? So you have to know how you answer yourself. This is another, go back to the prior question of why do you need to know yourself? Because when the answers come in, you need to know that the answer from you, or if it's just a random thought somebody down the street had that flew into your field. If you don't know yourself, you can't answer yourself.
Hey, Rob,
right?
Real quick, this is a hell of a show tonight, y'all. This is one of them ones. This is a hell of a show tonight. Rod, so let's say I'm in meditation and I have an aha moment, and then this happened to me. So this is why I'm asking you this. So I had one of the moments where I'm like, oh shit, wow, that's it right there. And then like 10 seconds after that, I think about my pops. So does that mean my pops gave me that aha moment? Because I've had aha moments.
Rich, you already answered your question, but you just wanted to verify for the people that you got an answer from your pops from the other side. You already knew the answer.
I'm gonna talk to you about it.
You already knew the answer. Every time so your father went through a particular life that he learned some stuff.
Yeah.
That's in your DNA.
Yeah.
When you ask yourself, one of the first places you looked is in your motherland and fatherland before you went for outside information.
Mm-hmm.
When the